हम लोगों ने
Hello everyone. I'm Arya Apte, your finance group teacher. Today we start our FMG 403 code subject, which is international finance. In international finance, there is an introduction to international finance, the international monetary system, the conditions and currency forecasting, balance of payment, foreign exchange market, uh, forex market in India, means foreign exchange market in India, currency and interest rate features, currency option, swap market, unit number 10, meaning and meaning, translation, transaction and economic exposure, international capital structure, international bond market, cost of capital, international capital budgeting, international portfolio management and multiple operations. And last 16 unit, financing foreign trade. So today we start our introduction to international finance. In international finance, there is rise in multiple corporation forecast forcing changing global market, internationalization of business and finance, multinational finance management theory and uh, practices, emerging challenges for international finance manager and its responsibility. So these are the topics which we cover in unit number 1. So focus on unit number 1. We start here. In today's world, no country exists in economic isolation. The high degree of economic independence among today's economic reflection and historical evolution of the world economic and political order. In the past 50 years, the world market economy have become increasingly uh, integrated in competitive world of 21st century. The opportunity to grow, the become more and more profitable lies in a process of globalization. Globalization is the worldwide trade of the economy of the world because becomes borderless and interlinked. The companies are no longer limited by their domestic boundaries and may conducted by business activity where anywhere in world. It is a perhaps to main reason why one should stay international finance. The 6 decades follow the Second World War have uh, witnessed an abnormal growth in volume of international business. Major economic reforms have been taken place during the period. In several countries of the world, nation like India had opened its door to the world after 1991. Much after World War II, the economic growth rate are closely related to op- opens to trade, education, communication, and interference. The phenomena of several of fittest workers everywhere as there are limited resources and one who optimally utilize these resource-wise the rest. Search of new air and more competitive market result into allocation of resources within the within across country. Increasingly the globalization scenario, knowledge and undertaking of different countries, economic and their markets must be established on self as a global player. Globalization, their loggings have resulting in various markets being interlinking, intergathering, and financial markets involved in freedom and opportunity to raise funds from an event everywhere in world through my type of instrument through the degree of freedom various of countries, but the trend in towards reducing the control over the market as a result of any affecting the financial market in any part of world automatically quickly affect to the rest of the world also. This is known as a transmission effect. Higher the integration, greater the transmission effect. So, as per these, they say that due to the economic development, the uh, opportunities of international trade is in high intact. So, for that, the various points are we shown in this column that we trans this effect is making globalization much better, and it established a global player for the every participant country. In topic, the first chapter, first point is rising multinational corporation. A company engaged international business when it is conducting any business function beyond the domestic border. Any company engaging the international business refer as a multinational company or MNC. It include all type of companies that engage in international business. Most multinational companies are also as multinational corporation as these companies are publicly owned through the stock. The larger multinational are all public corporations. Similarly, the MNC are offered privately owned by many of their businesses activity conducting otherwise their country. Smaller non-public MNC are also become increasingly important and become more often for smaller organization to uh, compete globally. In uh, in well development global financial system is essential for supporting international trade. The international player system is available to the international trade credits and the credit guarantee form be born of international trade. Why international trade does take place? What make two entries in two different countries, but from the sale of each other, how it is decided to which country should export a particular good and which country should import it. Who gain from trade? The number of theories have been had popular in order to answer the question, such as theory of absolute advantage, theory of competitive advantage, and hike sketcher O'Halin model. So, firstly, we go for theory of absolute advantage. In the theory attribution, answer. In this theory, the attribution to the Adam Smith in 1990, 1776, considered the father of economy. It states that the international trade takes place because one country is more efficient in producing a particular goods, and another country is may be capable to producing other goods more efficiency than the first one. All nations would stand and gain if they are specialized in this product. So, this is the advantage to develop trade between these countries. So, for example, suppose two countries X and Y, they produce it using 500 units of labor, while Y is producing 600 units. On other hand, the produce X requires 300 units and labor, and Y require 200 units and labor. All these functions and factors considered, the X enjoy the absolute advantage in producing the wheat, and Y is producing a car. The limitation of those theory is summarized as below. He assumed that the factor of production are not mobile among the countries. There exist no trade barriers. Labor is the only factor of production, and production exhibit consideration return of scale. Prices are comparable across the countries, implies the stability of exchange rate. The theory of competitive advantage, the theory of pro, proposed by David Richard, it states that other things being equal, the country trade a specialized expert this commodity in which he maximizes competitive cost of advantages and minimum cost of disadvantages. Similarly, the country imports will be the goods having relatively less competitive cost and advantages of greater disadvantages. Let us assume two countries, A and B. One unit of PC. A become 5, one unit of silk. It become 10. B required for 15 and 20. It is evident that the table of A enjoys the absolute advantage in producing the PC and silk. Let assume the 600 unit of labor hour are available. These can be used for production of PC or silk. If utilization these units are only for the production of PC, it will be produced 20 units. In case of goes for the silk, it will be produced 60 units of silk. Similarly, B can produce 40 units of PC or 30 units of silk. It involves opportunity cost. The quantity of silk foregone in order to produce one additional unit of PC. The opportunity cost involved in the production of PC and silk is given below. See, 60 divided by 120 is equal to 0.5, and silk 120 divided by 60 divided by is equal to 2. B same here 0.75 and 1.3. It, it, 3. It. 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 Observe from the table A should produce PC and B should produce C, as per the theory of competitive advantages. Third one, the model which developed by the early hackers and Brittle Over in 1920 exports exports the different goods required various inputs and different opportunities. These countries like India are well endorsed with human capital, but are the uh, popularity endorse the physical capital, where countries like US have plenty of physical capital but sacrifice the skill of labor, particularly in IT related sector. Goods goods like textile and services, like software can be produced with the help of human capital intensive method, while the manufacturing of earphones is highly capital intensive. India should consider on the export human capital intensive products while important physical capital incentive products. Our next point is force changing global market. In the past 2 decades, there has been uh, pronounced global economic integration. It occurred through the trade, labor, migration, and investment flow, such as a corporation stock and government securities. Five, five, crucible changes have uh, restructured and world economy in last 2 decades. Let us consider the major focus that changed the global market. Massive uh, deregulation in process of removing the regulation. The rational behind this increased level of competitive and high productivity. The more effect and lower price overall regular reform is parallel development alongside the their logging regulation reform refer to the organized and ongoing program to review regularization and view the minimize simplify, and make them more cost effective. Deregulation in India uh, was facilitated by the law like industry, IDR, MRTPA, FERA, Foreign Nation Regulation Act, and DGTS means Directorial General and Technical Development. Next term is privatization. It involves selling the state-owned capital and private enterprises as allow more firms to enter the industry and increase the competitive of the market in India. Privately, the goal themselves boosted by the introduction of new economic policy in 1991 that allow this delicious relaxing entry restrictions and equity funding. These high competitive in such industries that were monopolized by the public. The sector earlier state-owned enterprise were lacked the finance the private enterprise employee as an competitive edge. The revaluation of information technology. No doubt that technology revaluate has helped in economic integration by increasing the pace of trade between companies of countries. Inform is major development resources joining the risk of human nature and financial resources. During 1990, the impact of information technology had been felt increasingly. The information revolution is one of the major reasons of economic integration with the advantages of information technology, proximities, and uh, geographical location are no longer so important. IT revolution is help themselves tremendously become globalization in following various ways. First is production of the firm can no longer last forever. Specialization of firm to task rather than production. Rely realignment of the international traditional industry structure, downsides as well as prof, pro, proli, proliferation of firms. Specialization result in lower price, greater output, and more new varieties of products and services. Emergency of free market policies in third world nations. Free market policies ensure the freedom of buyer, seller to make their own decision about a selling and buying products and services. Countless nations accepting the standards of free market capitalization as the door of trade and be opened by third world nations like India, China. They are how prime destination of world trade because the population of both countries are very high. Next term is MNC evaluation. According to Franklin of Root, the MNC is a present company that engage to foreign products through the effect of located in several countries. Exercise direct control of the uh, policies of affairs. Implementation of business strategies in production, making the finance and satisfy the transaction of the national boundaries. Example: Ford, IBM, British Petroleum, Exxon Mobil. Walmart store, etc. These are corporations oriented early in 20th century, expanding after World War II. Among the earliest and largest multinational firms as America, Japan, and Europe. Theories of MNC. Today, with the number of MNC, means multinational companies, are their efficiency in world increasing parallelly with the globalization process. Therefore, the theory of MNC has been developed. The most significant one of these theories are located are internationalization theory, location theory. According to the location theory, the location of the production is determined by the uh, resources that determining the factor of the location. Choose are the cost of transportation and trade barriers. If the transportation costs are high, then the production of the located is revolution of information technology. No doubt that technology revolution has helped to economic integration by increasing the peace of trade between countries. Therefore, it is major development resources joining the risk of human, national and finance resources. During the 1990s, the impact of information technology had been felt increasingly. Information revolution is one of the major reason of economic integration. With the advertisement in information technology, the proximately and geographically the location are no longer so important. It reevaluate the health themselves tran- sorry uh, transmit tremendously in increase in globalization falling ways. The production of firm can no longer last forever. The specialization of the firm tasks rare than production, reliable of the industry structure, downsides as well as firm of specialization of result in low price rather in output and more new varieties of products or services. Next is emergency of free market policies in third world nations. The first politics ensure the freedom of buyer and seller, and it make their own decision about the standard of free market capitalization. In next lecture, we go for MNC theories, location theory, international theory. So don't miss it.